To be honest, I find going out pretty scary and intimidating. Got all those people checking you out, with only one purpose, hooking up. I'm quite the dork, I'd rather sit home and play Scrabble. But that doesn't get you a girl, does it? When I walk into a room that is all white and all male, I'm sitting on the outside of that club. That's sometimes an intimidating experience. But I think that everywhere that I've gotten is because I've worked hard. I have the experience, I have the credentials, I continue not to take any of that for granted. The whole concept of negotiating is intimidating to many people. Good Times was with a live audience, 3 camera, and that was really intimidating. Because there were people on both sides, moving from set to set, and it was pretty scary. As I say, I didn't have a foundation in Hollywood. I hardly knew anybody, just at the social level. I felt pretty isolated here, I really did. I think in the end, when you're famous, people like to narrow you down to a few personality traits. I think I've just become this ambitious, say whatever's on her mind, intimidating person. And that's part of my personality, but it's certainly not anywhere near the whole thing. I've talked to Simone Biles a lot, and it's really nice to get to know her in this way because she was my idol and I used to see her as this intimidating gold medalist, but now she's a friend. Well, Tommy Lee Jones is a little bit more intimidating. He's definitely a cowboy. He's from Texas. If I went out in killer heels and full makeup, blow dry, the whole thing, anyone dressed up like that could be intimidating to men and women, really. It's so, look at me, do you know what I mean? But I love women. I am a marked person, and no one who's unmarked is going to understand that. It's very intimidating. I don't even know what my place is anymore. What's my role in society? Who am I, after everybody has branded me? Through adopting radical extremism, some young men who previously felt humiliated and emasculated by their peers can now feel powerful and intimidating, and gain status, attention from young women, and the comradeship and solidarity of other young men like themselves. I am the least intimidating person. I think I would have done better in my career if I were a little more intimidating. Even the maid who comes to work for me once a week has found out that she can just trample over me. I'm a Cancer. We are not ferocious people. I missed jazz, kind of, and by the time I came to it in life, it was too intimidating to enjoy thoroughly. Some of these guys wear beards to make them look intimidating, but they don't look so tough when they have to deliver the ball. Their abilities and their attitudes don't back up their beards. The real intimidating stuff is the scene where you show up for the first day. You kind of square off, and that is where you look each other in the eye. The mandate you go with is intimidating and also is a source of respect that you gain, because you have come with this mandate from the United Nations. I think that a lot of people would perceive my style as being intimidating, and although I don't want to intimidate kids, I am very demanding. So I still seize the power, but I felt that if I officially made myself the boss, in black and white, it would be too intimidating for the other producers and the other men who worked on the show. In other words, I had the power, but I gave them the title. I really liked Yale, although it was extremely intimidating. When I visited the campus, I was hiding behind trees. I felt so unworthy. When a show's already established, and a director comes to set, it can be quite the intimidating experience. I knew that because of who I am, and the situation I'm in, that I'd attract more critics than your average person, and that was a little intimidating, but I wanted to get out there and pay my dues. It was really hard for them to intimidate me. They felt I was intimidating. One of the growers had a name for me. I think it was Dragon Lady or something like it. I have had a very physical acting career, but on a newsroom, it's not about physicality, but it's about presence. I get to just be. Strong, sensitive, quiet strength can be much more intimidating than the screaming loud guy, and I'm so glad to get to show this side of me, which, to be honest, is a lot like who I really am. With something like Tomb Raider, it's very intimidating to step into the boots of Lara Croft. I was gonna throw the first pitch at a Mets game, but there was a rain delay. So I'm waiting for it to stop, and the team's manager, Willie Randolph, comes by. Now he's already intimidating to begin with, but he comes over to me and says, "If you screw this up, they will boo you." And I said, "Thanks." When you're trying to enter something as intimidating as comedy, starting out with a support network of like-minded people is a powerful thing. It was natural we'd end up working together because we went through those first petrifying moments together. We created gigs for each other, slapped each other on the back, and protected each other. I've done a lot of Super Bowls and appeared in a lot of big events and places and the Masters and what have you, but there was nothing as intimidating as speaking with Billy Graham. Off the court, I'm a totally different person. I've heard people be like, oh, so sweet, like a big old teddy bear. But I guess I still have that look on my face in a game. I guess I still have a vibe where it's intimidating. The purpose of writing is to inflate weak ideas, obscure pure reasoning, and inhibit clarity. With a little practice, writing can be an intimidating and impenetrable fog. Scientology is not a terrorist organization. Scientology has used intimidating tactics and vindictive litigation. High expectations are really intimidating. I'm just calm under fire. I'm not intimidating at all. It's very intimidating to be photographed, but if I kneel down and chat with you, so you're looking down at me, it makes you feel less threatened. There may be something to the suggestion about the pace of technological change intimidating writers, though, it's been awfully hard to keep ahead of real developments. There are over 20 federal agencies that provide some, or all, of the steps in the export process. This can paint a very confusing and intimidating picture for small companies who often don't have designated export officials or trade representatives on staff to navigate the process for their businesses. I can be intimidating, but not within the confines of a film shoot. I am not intimidating, I am forthright. Weight Watchers is not intimidating. It's not a diet. It's a lifestyle. I do want to work on writing, because writing's a skill. Writing is something that you can train yourself to know better, to know yourself better, and it's intimidating as hell. Which is a wonderful irony. I have property there. I go back every chance I get. One of the main reasons I actually wrote the book, agreed to write it having never wanted to do that in my life. Very intimidating by the way to write a book. I would have to say, The Crucible stands out because it was one of the best experiences I've ever had, but, you know, Arthur Miller being present on the set, which was wonderful and incredible, but, to have him in your eye line is quite intimidating. It's such a beautiful language he created, so that was challenging but exciting. Letterman is very intimidating because he's so funny, so you have to be really prepared. Also, he's a little squeamish about certain things, so you have to always be on guard to please him. The most intimidating world leader was Lyndon Johnson, who became U.S. President when John Kennedy was assassinated. He exulted in this power and liked to inspire fear. You don't look at the big problem altogether, because I think it's a little intimidating. So you just take it one day at a time, meet the people who are going to meet with you, for you, and who you're going to work for, and really try to do the best job that you can. That's all teamwork, and that's what space travel is about. People only see gymnastics on TV and in the Olympics at such an extreme, so it can be intimidating. Acting can be very intimidating, because you are not in a scene alone, you have to be in sync with so many other people. For some reason, the concept of writing with swing chords was intimidating. I like the performing part, it gives me a huge rush, but it still makes me nervous. Being in front of large crowds is intimidating to me and I feel myself withdrawing. Intelligent, successful, attractive people can be intimidating. They force us to hold a mirror to ourselves. We can be disappointed, jealous or inspired toward personal growth. So you don't have to take us too seriously. I mean, we're already intimidating enough on stage. The first thing that came to mind when I met Tom Brady was intimidation. I'm showing up in 2005 with a guy who just came off his third Super Bowl win. So, it's a little intimidating walking in the room with Tom Brady for the first time. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.